So after President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. will rightfully recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and the U.S. Embassy will be relocated there, the usual suspects took umbrage to that proclamation and decided to write some really terse letters to the editors of their local newspapers. No, they didn't do that. Rather, the anti-U.S., anti-Israeli crowd responded with violence, or they used their indoctrinated children as real-life props for photo ops. But even more pathetic is a media that just can't bring itself to report on such hatred and violence because, well, I guess it just doesn't fit the progressive PC narrative now, does it? Joining me in the studio is our fearless leader and Rebel Commander, Ezra Levant. Great to have you again on Rebel Roundup, Ezra.
It's nice to be here, David.
Fantastic. Now, Ezra, surely news is news, and when you see an identifiable group being targeted, in this case Jews, I would say it is unethical and irresponsible not to report this, yet as the saying goes, the silence is deafening. Ezra, what do you think is the unspoken strategy behind the media turning a blind eye to certain Muslims behaving badly?
Well, that's the thing. They have a narrative, and anything that falls outside their expected storyline, they throw those facts out. It would be like a scientist having a theory. You know, that's how the scientific process works. You have a theory, a hypothesis, you test it against the facts. If the facts don't fit your theory, you throw out your hypothesis and come up with a new idea. In journalism, they do the opposite. Their narrative, their hypothesis to explain the world, their worldview is Muslims good, Western world bad. The only people who are anti-Semitic are white neo-Nazi skinheads. If a Muslim does something anti-Semitic, try not to see it. If you see it, try not to report it. If you report it, don't say it's Muslim. If it's Muslim, say it's not real Islam. So instead of changing their hypothesis, they throw out the facts. And the facts is the Muslim world is extremely anti-Semitic. Not every single Muslim. We know many wonderful Muslims, including who work here at the Rebel. But the disproportion of Muslims don't like Jews. They don't like Westerners. And it comes from the Quran, which is an anti-infidel document. And listen, there's different ways to approach a Quran, just like you can take the Christian and the Jewish Bible in various degrees of literally also. But these journalists turn a blind eye to it. Let me give you a personal example. 3 years ago in Calgary, we had a pro-Israel rally right outside City Hall. There were some Palestinian men across the street with the Palestinian flag chanting at us. Now, the cops were keeping them back. There were a ton of journalists there. They started chanting, "All hail Hitler! All hail Hitler!" Now, I don't think that should be against the law to say that. But that sure is newsworthy, isn't it? You've got Palestinians chanting Hail Hitler. They were saying Hail Hitler in front of the cops' face to a bunch of Jews. And there were Calgary Herald reporters who were standing right there and saw it. But they said, these Palestinian youth are saying things I don't even want to report. Well, why don't you want to report it?
Hey, that was an excerpt from my weekly show, Rebel Roundup, in which we highlight the best stories of the week with your favorite rebels. If you want to see the full show, please sign up to become a premium member.